trigger warning for this podcast may contain explicit material, unlike every other episode we've ever done.
What's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play today. In today's episode of Nerd Nostalgia, you're going to find the trio, the tripod, bringing you another episode talking about Moon Knight episodes 1-3, the first half, baby. And then, of course, we're going to give you a second review following up the season finale this week. Guys, if you haven't already, please head over to Apple Podcasts, drop that 5-star, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about us, help us grow this audience. We do love bringing this out to you guys, this content. Find us on the social medias. We're on the MySpace. We're on the Facebook. So nerd.nostalgia, Nerd Nostalgia Nation. We're on Instagram, nerd.nostalgia. Make sure you hit us up. All right, guys, without further ado, y'all know the drill. Before we get started, here's a quick clip for you to enjoy.
I'm Miho Nishizumi, and this is Nerd Nostalgia Podcast. And thanks for stopping by. Panzer Vor! Oh, and fuck you, Bryan, with an I.
Who wants the intro?
Not me.
Okay, I'll go ahead and intro.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerd Nostalgia Podcast. Got Trey, Bryan, and the bald guy.
That'd be me.
Yay. That's Irvin.
That was me.
Welcome back, everybody. We haven't been here in a while. Well, me and Bryan haven't. I think Irvin does all the work, or at least he likes to say so.
You're right. I don't do all the work. If
So while
I didn't upload stuff, nothing would get done.
Well, so I was listening to your Morbius review, and I need you to go back and do like a little bit of self-editing because that audio cut out several times. And
did it really?
I know that. Yeah, I know that because this is literally the first episode I've listened to since we started.
Since ever.
You know why? As I think about it, I did it from my phone versus actually here in front of the microphone. Because it was an instant reaction. It was like me just talking to the thing, like having just gotten out of the theater and addressing my thoughts and stuff. So it
was live in the field, things like that happen. Like when you're reporting on a hurricane and you get blown over sideways.
Yeah,
exactly.
Except that he shouldn't have recorded in a hurricane. Just go and find yourself a quiet little space to record consistently.
I'm committed to the cause. Obviously,
I also love
I'm going to put myself in danger.
Irvin was very, very open about the fact he's like, all right, guys, this won't be my best review. I've had quite a few brewskis. And, I don't really remember the movie. I know it had some bats in it. Did I watch Batman again? Who knows? Edward Cullen, hell of a guy.
Hell of a guy.
Oh, that should be another episode, is Edward Cullen versus Morbius. No, never. That's
who would win.
Put your suggestions in the comments, and then we'll dissect them.
Speaking of,
to get into the comments.
Okay, tangent over. Jesus, reel it in.
Not even 2 minutes in.
Yeah, not even 2 minutes in. People are like already clicking out, like they're just done. What I already know what you did this weekend, Trey, because we talked offline. But I will have Bryan ask you after I ask him. What did you do this weekend? This was Easter weekend. What did you do, Bryan?
Absolutely nothing, and it was glorious.
Did you really?
Yes.
Jesus does not forgive you.
I worshiped the resurrection. Like I was, I reflected on it, but it was just a nice, quiet weekend, and that's all I wanted.
There you go.
That's all I wanted to.
Well,
we took a trip. 3 hours in the car up there and 4 hours in the car back with 2 kids. Not a whole lot of fun on that regard, but they did have a blast when they got there. We went to the family ranch house outside of Austin, Texas, and went to wineries and breweries and distilleries. So I heard a tidbit while we were up there that there were over 350 new wineries opened in the Hill Country in the last year alone.
Wow.
And I don't know how it could be supported. There's no way that any of them are making money. It's got to be a front.
It's all stimulus checks.
Yeah, $1,400 I'm
Small
gonna buy
COVID
600 acres. Done.
COVID
Yes.
stimulus checks.
That's where I put my money to. Let's open a winery.
Let's do it.
It's one grape plant in my backyard. That's all I could afford.
Wait, aren't they on the vine? What are we doing here?
I don't know. I just threw some grapes on the ground. And all of a sudden,
turn into raisins.
Well, it's raisins and now it's a plant.
Isn't that how it works?
That's
I don't
how it
know.
works.
Houston's way too humid to actually dry out for raisins. Like they'll probably just get like if you put out a grape, it would just get bigger. Like it's gonna absorb the humidity in the air.
It just keeps growing and growing.
All right, Irvin, before we
What-
get into your weekend celebration,
Sure.
I've got an idea. I need you to get the exact same pair of glasses that Trey and I both now have.
Yes. Oh, I gotta go get my new one. So I told you about that
Oh
story.
yeah, you did. Oh, let's
Yeah.
not say that. No.
I got a
Oh yeah.
I gotta end up getting a second pair, and so I'm trying them out because I've been a square glasses guy for years and years and years and years, and so now I'm trying out some funky frames, and I saw Bryan's, and I was like, you know what? I think those will look better on me. So
And
I
he was
did.
right. He was right. So Irvin, try and double up both of us and see how it goes. Tell us about your weekend, Irvy. That's my new name for me.
Irvy.
Trying it out.
I've had people call me that before.
No, I'm the first.
It was a wonderful weekend, boys. As always, what did I do? I went over to our buddy Bo's. Shout out, Bo. Obviously, you're listening. I went over to his house and did some nerd stuff, comic book stuff. He is my silent partner in the business. And
Not so silent anymore.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, words out, whatever. Hung out, and then Fawn came over for a little bit. We got in the hot tub, had a few beers, and then things got weird after that. No.
And then I went and watched Morbius and couldn't remember anything.
And then woke up the next day. Bo lives close to where my brother lives. They're about 10, 15 minutes away. And so then I went to a comic book store that I hadn't been to. And I spent like 3.5 hours there hunting and pulling and got some good stuff. Then I went over to my brother's and we had Easter weekend, got to see the nieces and nephews and throwing them up and upside down, grabbing them by a foot and all that kind of stuff, doing the super uncle.
Doing the
stuff.
Michael Jackson. Yeah, I like it.
That is indeed, yeah. The upside down.
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, the
guys, not
dangling.
other
That's
stuff.
I'm referring to him dangling over a balcony.
Yeah.
It's a very
And-
esoteric and specific reference, but I knew that one of the two of you would get it.
Exactly.
Wasn't this
So-
one?
So I saw that in your eyes, the horror.
He's like, ding, 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 guys, ding, ding, ding. So hung out with everybody. Sister eventually came over the next day on Easter, and we just had crawfish for lunch and then barbecue for dinner. We're in the pool, drinking brewskis, and I took a 2-hour nap, and then I woke up and I was like, I'm still tired. So I took a 1-hour nap on top of the 2-hour nap.
So it's a
And-
3-hour nap.
Technically I woke up and I was up for a little bit. I was like, nah, I'm gonna go back to bed. And so I went back to bed. So yeah. And just had a good old time with the family.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've never done that before where I've taken a nap, woken up and been like, nah, we're not done yet. And then taken another nap. Like I was up for like a good 10 minutes and I was like, no, I think I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Every
That's-
damn day.
Yeah. You get to sleep that much? Get the fuck out of here.
That's true.
I've had it happen where, by the way, I'm getting real like cup envy because y'all have got these big ass Yetis and I just had this little bitty thing. Anyway,
Hey buddy, it's not the size of the
size
cup.
of
It's
how you
know,
fill it up with.
it's
water.
how you feel about it ultimately. If you like your cup, then that's it's a good cup.
And the thing I just said to you, if you were paying attention, was that I have envy for the size of your cups because it's fewer trips. Okay, it wasn't a Yeti, it was an Arctic, whatever. Represent. That's cool. I was going somewhere with that, but now it's left me like tears in the rain. All right, let's talk about Moon Knight. Moon.
What a transition,
Moon
ladies.
Knight. Moon Knight.
So smooth.
Well, speaking of Easter and the resurrection, let's talk about a guy that cannot be killed. Moon Knight.
So what are we
Yeah.
thinking? Okay. Initial thoughts right off the rip. So both of you guys, how familiar were y'all with Moon Knight? Let me start there.
I wasn't familiar at all. And so I kept hearing the promotional material and seeing that he was a character clad in black and white. And I kept thinking they were saying Moo Knight. So he was like a cow-based hero. And then I found out it was Moon Knight. And that just changed everything. No, it's obviously a completely farcical introduction. I had no prior knowledge other than just knowing that Oscar Isaac is very, very charming and very handsome.
He is.
Except for
Shout
when
out
he's
Central
except for
American
when he's an
folk.
annoying British dude.
Very terrible to see him as a Brit. I'm a vegetarian.
He's nailing it though. He's doing
No,
good
like
job
he's doing
at
a
it.
great. So that's kind of the mark of
Steven?
it, right? Yeah, that's the mark of it, is that you dislike him and are annoyed by his one character, and then he redeems himself in every scene as he becomes Mark Spector.
You mean Poe Dameron? That's just who he's acting.
Pretty much.
No.
I was waiting for him to say,
you.
"How does this work? Do you talk first? Do I talk first?"
How dare you?
No, I think that's the mark of him as an actor. But who else is excited to see Ethan Hawke in something again? Like,
And crushing it too.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, I moved recently, and so I was packing up old DVDs and stuff like that, and sorting, rearranging, and putting things away, and my copy of Gattaca fell out.
Aww.
And I was like,
Love that movie.
Oh, Ethan Hawke.
We need to review that movie at some
Where you
point.
been? So yeah, that was cool. I like it. I don't know. I mean, I still don't know what to think of it. And especially, so we have seen, to clarify this, we have seen up to episode 3. Episode 4 does not come out until later on this week. And from us just discussing it a little bit ago, we're already halfway through. And I'm like, no, there's like so much here. There's already so much going on. They've thrown pretty much the story of what Khonshu and Steven / Mark and just kind of the story into kind of flux right now, because obviously Khonshu is like stone or whatever the hell that means. So, okay, where do you go from here? And you only have 3 episodes to wrap it up, like, or at least get it going again. Because this is, I mean, have they greenlit anything new, next seasons? I don't again, I don't keep up with any of that stuff. I just watch it as it comes out, but it's taking some turns already.
Irvin, what's your background? What are your thoughts on Moon Knight?
So I never read the comics. I will be 100% upfront about that. I'm not one of these people. It's like, oh, I've been a big fan since day one. No, shut up. No, you haven't. It's such an
Guardians of the Galaxy was my favorite growing up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
shut up,
okay,
everybody.
Exactly.
Okay,
dude.
nerds.
So I did know of the character, and the way it had always been described to me was Batman with schizophrenia. Obviously, it's a little bit more than that, because he's getting his powers from a fucking Egyptian god. Like, definitely different. But a lot of the violence and the violent tendencies, like as far as his fighting is concerned, that I can see being the similarity.
Moon Knight, Dark Knight.
Yeah, but yeah, night is in the thing. That's pretty much it. Like, I wasn't well versed in it, and then I researched it a little bit, but it never really fully caught my attention. But the show is really good. I'm a fan. Oscar Isaac is just, he's bae, man. He's an awesome actor, and he's crushing it. Obviously making you hate Stephen Grant, and then at the same time loving Mark Spector.
Well, the other thing that I take from this show is, with the exception of the Tom Cruise Mummy remake redo, try to start up a monster movie franchise, whatever. Like, Egyptian gods and ancient Egypt have not been.
What's happening? What is this? Is this from Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, he's standing up, and
Apologies, this seat is uncomfortable, so I had to stand up, and then I was like, it's almost at my
Junk
Senior
turns it
business.
into a sexy dance. Cut this shit out. This is a visual storytelling, and it's going to be entirely audio. All right, keep going. Trey. Jesus fuck.
So yeah, so with the exception of the Tom Cruise mummy movie, like I feel like in the 90s growing up, like ancient Egyptian gods and just talking about Egypt and stuff was everywhere. And I was hooked as a kid, loved it. That was like my favorite ancient civilization stuff. They had like the coolest stories and magic and mythology and everything like that. Like I know Irvin was ancient Greece growing up, but I was definitely ancient Egypt, like as far as being a kid and enjoying that kind of stuff. And like you had the Brendan Fraser mummy movies and
Classics.
like just it was kind of everywhere, right? And it fell off like for a while. Like I said, there was that I don't even know when the Tom Cruise mummy movie came out, but
That was bad.
it was pretty bad. They try to do too much. We'll talk about that one later, but it's nice. Like I'm like kind of taken back to being a kid and like really enjoying the ancient Egypt stories and stuff like that. And there's definitely a deeper mythos, and how true it is, I have no idea because I don't know that much about it. But
wouldn't you say that you wish it had a little bit more of that hunting aspect, the clue hunting, kind of like National Treasure or in the Mummy, like this clue leads to this, then this leads to this. I feel like it's kind of missing that. I still really like it, but I wish there was more of that detective work from it.
Yeah, he's not Batman. He's not a detective, but I would say that.
Where is he?
I am vengeance.
Where's the moon dust or whatever it is that what is he seeking? He's seeking like, I don't know.
Moon dust. That is a drug. Moon dust is like when you mix angel dust and moon dust.
Moon dust.
Where are the moon rocks? That's apparently my MacGuffin. What the fuck is he looking for? He's looking for the tomb of another ancient guy, so we can find another person's tomb who's got magical powers to make Tomb Night come to life or something. I don't know.
Right.
Pretty sure Tomb Raider's going to show up and just start blasting everybody.
And then Adrian Toomes, aka some Spider-Man villain, is going to show up too.
Tombstone. No, Toomes was Vulture, right?
Yeah.
Adrian Toomes. Oh yeah. Tomb Night.
Silly goose.
Tomb
Vulture Night. Moon Vulture.
But yeah, I mean, yes, that would be cool, and it's kind of happening. Yeah, you got to go here to get this, to find that, to go here to get this, and you're schizophrenic the whole time. Okay, that makes things difficult. But I feel like they're doing that, and in the way that the story is written, or at least for the show, is that like that is the plan. But every time like he tries to go to that next step of the plan, it gets fucked up, which I like. Like
because
it's
of
like
Stephen Grant.
Yeah, well, that pretty much, yeah. It's the Game of Thrones George R.R. Martin theory that we go here, we need to do this thing, but along the way, they never fucking make it. That is kind of what is happening in this show. Is something is always going wrong. They're always backed into a corner, and then you fuck with the sky, and then you get turned to stone, I guess.
So you fuck with this guy twice in one episode, and then you get turned to stone. That's how it works. Those are the very clearly defined rules in this universe.
Yeah, don't fuck with the sky, and then he does it again.
Yeah,
like come on, what'd you expect?
So it was really interesting. I saw a like Nerdist or some other like IGN review or something talking about how could you imagine living in the MCU world where fucking aliens just come out of the sky, then it's like the Moon Knight thing happens.
Must be fucking Tuesday.
Yeah, it's like, oh man.
I just want to work as an insurance adjuster. Why does shit keep exploding?
Oh yeah, that's got to be the worst job in the MCU.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's predictable work, right? And it's like, oh, okay, there's another crisis in Sokovia.
How much are they insured for?
Nothing. They've been paying all these premiums, but they don't cover Avengers disasters.
What did y'all think of so you have Moon Knight, and then you have what's the other character's name?
Well, so there's there's Jupiter
Mr.
Knight,
Knight, Mr.
Uranus Knight. There's Tuxedo Mask, who shows up every episode
Tuxedo
and
Mask.
throws down a rose and then
Saturn
does
Knight.
nothing else.
It's
Saturn
Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight.
Chibi Moon Knight.
Yeah, there's the Luna is Moon Knight's.
I want to say there's another
talking
persona
cat
too,
companion.
actually. Like legitimately, I think there's one more.
Well,
let's-
we've been hinted at in the third episode. Spoilers. In the third
Oh,
episode,
that's right.
they're,
Oh yeah, spoiler.
they're like basically Mark and Steven kind of wake up at the same time and they're blaming each other. Like, Steven, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, I didn't do that. And then he's like, Mark, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, I didn't do that. So there is a third.
Yeah.
Or supposedly.
So I think there's like a total of 4 or 5.
I read the Wikipedia too.
Yeah.
And that's about
Spoilers.
it. I mean, that's
we cheated.
but they changed a lot already. So I mean, you can read the Wikipedia and it gives
They're
a kind
pulling
of
from a lot of different things.
right. And I'm cool with that. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta reinvent it a little bit. You gotta make it a little bit more palatable for being live action serial like it is, and instead of, just straight from the comic book pages, which the MCU has done with pretty much everything, and that's fine. But yeah, I mean, they started at a cool place, because you're just kind of like, what? Like, I mean, you know that there's going to be schizophrenia, because if you watch any of the trailers and looked at the Wikipedia, you know that there's like an alternate personality, but just dropping you into this annoying guy's life and then knowing that he's going to be a badass. So you're like, I'm going to put up with you for like 15 or 20 minutes. But then after that, like, something cool better happen. And it does. Spoilers.
Latest gators.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's good in that regard, that it is different from where it is. But I think there's a lot of mysteries, which is kind of that detective feel to it, right?
Yeah.
But the mysteries may or may not be solved. I mean, because they've shown that, okay, we need to go here, we need to get this item, and then go to this place or whatever, and it all gets blown to hell.
Yeah.
So the mysteries may not be answered, like maybe this season. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm hooked. I'm hooked enough to continue watching it for sure. Like,
Bryan,
definitely.
what's your thought?
I don't like it.
You don't like it.
I don't
okay.
like it. And here's the thing. I think it's got some things going for it. Largely just that Oscar Isaac, I'd watch him just like paint my walls, like
Shirtless.
maybe he gets a little paint on his shirt and he takes it off, and then that just, then it's, like, there's like music that starts playing anyway, let's not worry about that. But I think that some mystery is cool. And I guess what I don't understand is a lot of stuff. And that's to say that it has not set up sufficiently in my mind the rules of the game. Okay, I get that we're being introduced to the pantheon of Egyptian gods, fine, or whatever you call the pantheon. There's like a special term for them. I get that we're being introduced to this new character and all these different things, but like shit that I should be firmly aware of the ground rules for how this universe works, I should know already. Like by the first episode, I shouldn't be wondering, okay, well, is there another personality in his head? Which we kind of learn, but even by episode 3, which is apparently the halfway point, I really don't know how they switch brains or, switch control. I don't know, is it a voluntary thing? Is it looking in the mirror thing? And I think this is something that could have been at least very easily set up in the first episode, where they establish Steven is museum guy, he goes to a therapist, and he deals with this very real, I've also read part of the Wikipedia, it's not schizophrenia, it's dissociative identity disorder, and I don't quite know what the distinction is, but you just have Stephen Grant say, hey,
split
yeah, okay, so he's James McAvoy essentially.
Yes.
from Split.
Yeah.
Just like have that be established in the front, which is, he's got this condition, which then explains why he does all these wonky things, why he sometimes wakes up with lost time. And the therapist can even say, look, here are some ways that you can cope with this. If you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, I'm Stephen Grant, that's how you kind of center yourself instead of letting these other personalities take place. And let that little just tiny little technique be what he then uses throughout the series to gain or wrestle control away, right? Like, I think that would have been a nice way to set up and just create clear rules and expectations on how these different personalities interact. Otherwise, it's just random, and then I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. That would have been helpful. We're going to get an exposition dump at some point. It's either going to be in this next episode or episode 5, and it's going to, kind of explain why all the gods are doing what they're doing and how it is that we have Norse mythology gods living in Asgard, but then on Earth we somehow have an equally powerful set of deities that were completely unheard of until just now. But that's coming. I would have liked that a little front loaded. I just don't.
Well, they kind of explain that, right? They're like, oh, we go into these avatars,
yeah,
and we're trying to do it a different way. We don't want to mess with them. Same thing with the Eternals, right? They kind of explain where they've been, why they haven't been present.
Don't bring that stupid part up.
I guess here's my thought is that we're 3 episodes in. This is 3 hours of time we've committed, and I really don't know what the central stakes are. I don't know what it is that they're ultimately seeking. And as far as the treasure hunt, I think that would have been cool on some level, but rather than be the what's the Nicolas Cage movie? America's
National Treasure. I think it would have almost been better to do it like a hangover type scenario where, it kind of flips between these 2 personalities or 3 or however many there are. And he's trying to clue together, okay, I've got tickets from Cairo. I've got to go back to Cairo. Oh, I've got a receipt from this particular hotel. And then he runs into and so he pieces his own prior life back towards the source. No, that's cool, but I see that, and that's a good storytelling device. However, Steven plays the reluctance, so he's they cut it when he's in Cairo. They cut out of Mark and then back into Mark real fast, and he's on his way to the airport because Steven wants to leave. And so I don't think that. The only thing he did was pick up the keys and the cell phone and find the storage locker. That was the only thing, because he just was trying to figure out what was going on. But now that he has an inkling of what's going on and he can see Khonshu and he's put on the suit and everything, he's trying to dip. And Mark's the only one fighting for it. And he knows what's going on.
I think it's about to change though. I think Steven's going to be on board with what's her name being in trouble and trying to help her.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that change. Yeah.
And I can't wait for them to start arguing over who she's actually in love with. And
right.
She's gonna be like, it's both of y'all, obviously, or something stupid like that.
I like that Steven's sensitive and British sounding.
And smart and intelligent.
And I like Mark Spector's stuff.
Okay.
I like its gun.
Does Steven actually exist, or is he only about 4 days old as far as his existing in the universe?
So I think
it's longer than 4 days.
I think it's been
however long.
I think it's been a long time because he speaks ancient Egyptian. That's got to take some time to learn, even though he didn't ever sleep or tried not to. And he had that in in Steven's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about it. They reference it. She's like, I've been trying to reach you for months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it's been at least 2
months,
right?
Yeah.
That's the way that works.
But like you said, we're probably going to get a huge lore dump, and then we're going to figure out why. Because it sounded like he got into Mark because Mark was already broken, and Mark was able to keep it under control for a long time. But so who's to say that he, wasn't Steven in the past, at least at some points.
Are we going to connect ancient Egypt to Apocalypse?
I did think of
Apocalypse. That, and they mentioned Madripoor as well. I did notice that because I watch everything on subtitles, and so I caught it. But we've seen it before in Falcon and Winter Soldier as well, and that is a X-Men hotspot. But yeah, that's a good point. to bring in Apocalypse.
I don't think they will. I think
But
they've done the Apocalypse route. I doubt they come back to it. But maybe.
So the gods, Black Panther. So the Panther god is Bast, right? Which is African, but not of the Nile people, but African.
Yeah.
So I wonder where that will come in.
So okay, can we talk spoilery kind of stuff?
Sure.
Yes.
Because it's not real. It's not
Have
real.
you ever? Have you ever? It's
all made up, guys.
So did y'all watch that Thor trailer I sent y'all?
Yes.
Did y'all like it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So do y'all know who the main antagonist is going to be in that?
Jim Jom, the God Killer.
Close.
Yes.
So Gore, the God Butcher.
Hey, I was
were pretty
30%
close.
there.
That's what I was
Pretty
like.
close.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
Jim
good.
Jom.
Jim Jom.
Jim Jom.
God
Fucking
killer.
Jim Jom. Oh no, Jim Jom's after us again. Run.
So
He's
when that
butchering
comes
the
out,
gods.
He's
Jim
butchering-
Jom, the God murderer.
So Gore the God Butcher, played by former Batman, Dark
Yes.
Knight.
Yes.
See what I'm doing there?
Ooh, nice.
Christian Ballet. So he is playing Gore the God Butcher.
Christian Bale. Yeah,
I saw
saw
the.
the. So you saw the fear in my eyes earlier in the episode. I saw the confusion in yours that way.
Yeah, he's like,
No, that was a confusion. That was just contempt. Belay, get the fuck out of here.
he's playing. The rumor is that he's going to show up in this series and end up killing all of the other gods. And then he's going to go around killing all of the gods that exist, because that's his main thing. He hates gods, and he has a whole cool backstory. I won't
Is
spoil
his
that
name
for you.
Kratos?
Kinda.
Boys.
Because there was a boy.
Nice.
Nice.
So that's the theory, is that he's going to
Okay.
show up at the end of this. I think it's a bit of a stretch.
Is
But
he
it
show
would
up
be
at the
really
end
cool.
of Moon Knight, or is he gonna show up at the end of Love and Thunder?
At the end of Moon Knight, he's the antagonist in.
Okay, so he's
in lore.
yeah. Okay, I didn't know if he
And,
was gonna pull like a Thanos at the end of, like you just see the side of his face.
Yeah, I don't think he's the big bad.
The next big bad.
Yeah, I think
I thought
think-
Galactus was going to be the next big bad.
Kang is the Loki, where he's like the bad in a lot of things, but not the big threat. And I think Galactus is eventually still going to be that. I don't see Gore being past a movie or two.
I just don't know how you can fight Galactus. Like, okay, I get that
All he
maybe.
needs is a Silver Surfer. We've already seen this movie.
Yeah, but in that one, Galactus was like a cloud or
Yeah, so
something.
stupid.
A cloud with an
Somehow.
anus in it.
So stupid.
Planus. Ooh, let's patent that. The thing I loved was like, yeah, I can see Captain Marvel punching Galactus, and then Galactus just, and then she flies into the sun and explodes. But like, what the fuck is Moon Knight gonna do against Galactus? It's Galactus. He's got
No.
gravity.
So he's so
It depends how they show him too, right? Are they going to make him this giant world eater? They could easily do that. They could also condense him down. He has been known to condense down. Silver Surfer is the one who has power cosmic from him. That's how you ultimately defeat him. Then you have other characters like Wanda that are barely tapping into their power. Who else is next level that strong? Phoenix, the Phoenix Force from X-Men. So there's ways. I just don't know how Feige would write it or script it out, but there's ways. I don't think it's convincing enough for Bryan though.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, like realistically, I'm excited to see what happens, but I just, well, and that's and this will be my final word on Moon Knight is, and this is not a criticism of it, it's sort of an observation, is the last several Avengers products have been, these are characters that kind of fit on the Avengers team. Moon Knight just seems like he fits with the Defenders. Like he's that level of hero where you're not going to trust him to go and like go off world and go fight some galactic threat. But if he beats up some ninjas in New York City, I can get on board with that.
That's Daredevil.
Well, but I mean, like, he can be in that same room fighting with Daredevil.
I agree. And they usually do. They actually have the Midnight Suns. It's a team of kind of like Avengers, kind of like Defenders, but they fight the magic kind of darker stuff. So think vampires, werewolves, that kind of stuff. And so
Justice League Dark then.
Yes, pretty much. Exactly right.
Okay. Cool.
So it has Blade, Moon Knight, Morbius, Ghost Rider, and I think there's one more.
Would you cast Wesley Snipes today as current Blade?
100%.
I would love it. I would love him as a variant.
No, just regular. I'm 25-year-old Blade. I have the opposite of vampirism where I look really fucking old.
I'm still 25.
I'm still 20.
Have you ever heard of Benjamin Button?
I'm the opposite.
I'm the opposite.
No, I'm like, I just age really fast, like regular people. Oh, like that Robin Williams movie, Jack.
There you go. Okay, so how many Ewoks are you giving?
So this is 1 through 3. This is 1 through 3.
1 through 3, just the first 3 episodes thus far. Out of 9 Ewoks, where are you putting it?
4.
Wow, that's like a 5.5.
It's less than that.
No, it's 5.5.
It could not be a 5.5 because that would be more than half, and 4 would be that would be like 8 Ewoks. It would be 50% of 4.5 would be. Stop making me do math. It's late.
I love the meltdown of the math. He's like, wait a minute. It is 5.5. 4 Ewoks out of 9 puts it at 5.5.
Okay, I know
5.5
objectively
stars.
That's false.
1 Ewok is worth 1.1 stars.
That can't be true.
I think I'm gonna give it 6.
Okay, 4.5 Ewoks would be 50% Ewoks. That'd be a 5 out of 10, right?
Or five Ewoks and a Jar Jar.
You could.
No, we're not adding Jar Jars in these equations. You're fucking the system up, Trey.
Yeah, I think 5 Ewoks and a Jar Jar. I think that's
how many. Okay, let's since these are Marvel movies, we should do it by how many Spider-Men do we give it?
No, you're not switching it up anymore.
Yes. No. Yes, the webs we weave.
You web those weaves yourself,
Or
sir.
you, Madam Web.
You web those weaves yourself.
It's Maestro Web.
That book actually blew up. $1 book now going for hundreds of dollars. Anyways,
What, Madam Web?
so you're giving it a 4.
Solid
Ewok.
4 Ewoks.
4 Ewoks.
5 Ewoks and a Jar Jar.
Jesus fuck.
Man, so I'm the highest rated on this one. I'm giving it a solid 7.5. Like,
That's Return of the Jedi numbers, man.
I like
No,
it, dude.
Return of the Jedi numbers is 9
Yeah.
Ewoks and a Jar Jar.
No, there's only one 9 Ewoks Star Wars movie, and it's Empire and Caravan of Courage. There are 2 9
Fair.
Ewok Star Wars movies.
And holiday special.
No, that's 8.
Negative.
That's a solid.
Negative 7.
Negative 8.
So
Okay,
I
so
know
you-
I rate this high. I like it so far.
Let me put it this way: it's
something-
not a chore to watch,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm glad it's coming out. I think I'm just lost, and I just don't know how they're gonna wrap it up. And like I said, with the commitment of a second season, but it's like I loved Loki. Like Loki was fucking dope. I really, really enjoyed it. And I was like looking forward to it. And, it's like, gotta watch it. Day it came out, I'd sit down on my lunch break and watch it and da da da.
Yeah.
This one I'm like, okay, I'll catch it Wednesday, maybe Thursday, whatever. After the kids go to bed. Don't need to watch it. I'm paying attention to it, but I'm not like, am I? And anyway, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I'm just not hopeful for where it goes. So I think I'm just hesitant. I would probably rate it higher if I could see an end in sight.
Fair.
And that's I think that's a good point comparing it to Loki, because I think that were Loki not so good, were WandaVision not so good, I can see this floating more to the middle, but because we've got some really good examples of just really cool short form shows, I think that it set the bar too high.
I think it's on par with. I feel like it's pretty on par with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like as far as enjoyability and story and all that kind of stuff. It's nice that it's a new character. That's good. You know, we needed some new blood in there. Like it's not a bad thing that they're branching out and moving away, you know, because it is phase 10 or whatever we're on now.
Yeah.
And, you know, we need some new blood in there. But yeah, like you said, I mean, we've had the Iron Mans, the Scarlet Witches, the Thors, the Hulk, you know, the true blue Avengers, with the addition of Hawkeye and Wanda, or not Wanda,
Black Widow,
Maximoff. Yeah, I mean, it's like, so OP for sure, especially in the MCU, you know, more so than I think they were in the comic books. But actually, no, I take that back. They've done some weird shit with them. To have someone that's a little more grounded is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I think that's what Blade upcoming and picking out Black Knight. I think that's the direction they're going to go in. I think you're going to have two kind of separate storytellings. You're going to have
it's
the stuff
grand
on
scale,
Earth,
yeah,
and then you're going to have
scale,
the big stuff, which
Right.
makes sense,
right?
and you're able to, you know, keep the old stuff like your Black Widows and Hawkeyes and all that, keep them there, and then at the same time go find some other stuff with Guardians, Thor, Captain Marvel, all that stuff. But
like even Hawkeye, because Hawkeye that's a lower key, right? I mean, it's granted we've known Hawkeye for a long time now, but you know, we've known Clint Barton for a long time, and then putting him into where he's kind of passing the mantle is cool, but it just ended up being a good show. You know, it ended up being a good show, and kind of surprisingly so. And then this one is kind of, I don't know, but we don't know until at least the season.
Exactly. So we'll wait. I was gonna have us rank them all, you know, worst to best, or best to worst, however you want to do it. And then I was like, no, let's wait because we're only halfway through. This could be a Book of Boba situation. Could you imagine having rated the show
without Mando coming back?
Yeah, it just
haven't come back for most of the rest.
It would have been a 0 at that point, and then it just ultimately just moves to a 6. But yeah, that's
it moved from a 0 to like a
5,
3,
5. I give it a 5.
I would say 5.
5's a good number. I gave it a 6
because it's still progressed. It's still progressed. I mean, that's gonna be that'll live in infamy. But he was doing the scooter.
I remember. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on Moon Knight?
No, we'll see where it goes.
Eat more chicken.
Fair enough. Well, since Trey opened us up, I'm going to go ahead and close us out. Guys, please head over to Apple Podcast, drop that 5-star. Tell your friends, family, and coworkers. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate this. We love doing this with you guys. It's so much fun. Yeah, that's it. Stay nerdy, my friends.
Bye, y'all.
That's when you say that's a terrible catchphrase. But
catchphrase. Wait, catchphrase. It's
a terrible catchphrase.